I'm Selene Speaks and welcome back to my channel. Recently, immigrants have been showing up to court and getting detained by ICE before they can even leave the courthouse. That's what I'll be talking about today. Stick around. You're locked in with Selene Speaks, so let's get into this social critique. Keep it right here. In 2025, ICE is no longer waiting for immigrants to miss court. They're waiting for them at court. President Trump's reinstated immigration crackdown uses courthouse arrests to fast-track deportations, particularly for migrants who arrived under Biden and who have been in the United States for under 2 years. This is happening in over 20 states, and the list is growing weekly. The logic is that they want to bypass court battles, but the result is fewer court appearances and potentially fractured due process, according to the left. So what's happening is that these migrants are showing up to their immigration court hearings. If the judge ordered deportation or dismissed their case, ICE then takes them into custody immediately after this hearing. That's right, these are not border arrests. They're happening right in urban courthouse lobbies. Essentially, ICE is trying to catch these migrants while they're already vulnerable and already in custody risk. And if you're wondering who's being targeted, again, it's the migrants who entered under the Biden era and who haven't been in the United States for more than 2 years. This qualifies them for expedited removal, meaning no drawn-out court fight, just a fast track to deportation. And it's controversial because the opposers are saying that it creates fear and that it scares the migrants out of attending their hearings altogether. And supporters say that ICE is basically enforcing the federal laws when it comes to immigration. And these laws were often ignored by the previous administration. Either way, it's sending a loud message: no illegal immigration will be tolerated in the United States under the Trump administration. And I'm just going to say this: these Latinos for Trump, these Asians for Trump, all of these other groups out here who may have undocumented family members or friends were parading around here on social media and out in public, showing their support for Donald Trump when he ran his entire campaign on mass deportation.
President Trump, we love you. We will support you all the way to the end. Thank you for everything you've been doing.
We have a message for you, President Trump, from all the way down from the RGB 956. Latinos for Trump here representing. We've been with you since 2016. Co-founded Latinos for Trump. We pray for you, and it's time to what? Finish the wall! 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 Finish the wall!
But unfortunately, some of these people thought that they were better. They did not care about how the new policies would affect their loved ones and their friends, and they voted for him anyway. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a Kamala supporter. But you know what would have happened if Donald Trump would have ran his campaign on something that would hurt the FBA community collectively? I would have voted against my own personal interests for the greater good of my community. But that's just me. And all of you other groups who have undocumented family members and friends, you did not care about your own community. So how is anybody else supposed to care about you now? Respectfully. That said, those of you who voted against your own community's best interests, I don't see them letting up anytime soon with these deportations.
We captured the moment two men went from migrants
Do not approach interviews.
to detainees. It happened last week at Dallas Immigration Court when nearly a dozen people showed up to have their asylum cases heard. Their cases were dismissed by the judge. It's not just happening in Dallas. Asylum seekers in San Antonio were seen crying and begging for help as they were led away in handcuffs. Two Department of Homeland Security officials tell CBS News ICE is asking immigration judges across the country to dismiss the court cases of certain migrants so the agency can arrest them once their hearings end and place them in a fast-track deportation process known as expedited removal. Outside of Miami Courthouse, this migrant in cuffs says in Spanish, "It's a trap." The Department of Homeland Security released this statement to CBS News, saying Secretary Noem is reversing Biden's catch-and-release policy that allowed millions of unvetted illegal aliens to be let loose on American streets. On President Trump's first day in office, he reversed a 2011 policy that limited ICE arrests at sensitive locations like schools, churches, and courthouses. Arroyo says this new policy is part of the administration's crackdown.
This is going to go on until Donald Trump's term is over. And many of you are on social media now asking people to help you, especially the Black community. There's nothing FBAs can do for you. And according to the Trump administration, regardless of if you're from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela, wherever you're from, if you're here illegally, they want you out. I've said it before, this is what you voted for. You voted for mass deportations, not the illegal immigrants, but the friends and family members of these illegal immigrants. They did not care about the outcome of what would happen to their loved ones, and now they're facing the repercussions of that. And there is absolutely nothing that anybody can do to save you. I'm gonna be honest, when I look at a lot of these videos, I feel nothing. And some of these people were set up to fail, and that's due to the previous administration. But some of these individuals are freeloaders. Let's just call it what it is. They jumped a fence or jumped a border to get here, and then have the audacity to call Americans lazy. In general, if you take shortcuts with immigration, don't be surprised when it backfires. I only feel bad for the children because they are directly impacted by the decisions of the adults in their lives. Quite honestly, there are people who have waited in line for years to enter the United States properly. And quite honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the Trump administration and Marco Rubio started targeting green card holders next. But we'll see what happens. So what do you think? Would you show up for a court hearing knowing that ICE could potentially take you into custody? Or would you skip your appointment and risk getting deported immediately? Either way, there's still a risk, but I would love to know what you think. Leave your comments below, and if you like the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share the video with someone else who likes this type of commentary. Until next time, thanks for watching.